Over 150 US companies have agreed to offer entry-level data analyst jobs to people who complete this Google certificate. This is huge, and it's finally clear that companies actually value these certificates. The most popular data analyst certificate is this one, offered by Google through Coursera. I've actually completed the entire certificate myself before, and today I'll compare it to the IBM data analyst certificate. Now, I spent some time checking the IBM certificate as well to make sure that this is a fair comparison between the two, and I'm going to start with an overview. Then we'll move on to the similarities, differences, and then finally what certificate I recommend. The Google Data Analytics certificate consists of a few different courses that you complete in a row. After completing all the courses, you receive the final certificate, and the certificate never expires. It's permanent. The courses are very beginner friendly, and you don't need any prior experience at all to get started. In total, there's about 180 hours of course material, and it's made to prepare you for entry-level roles as a data analyst. What I really enjoy about this certificate is how they focus a lot on the fundamentals and slowly help you build your skills. I also really love how Google spends time making you job ready. They help you make a resume, a portfolio, and show you how to successfully land a job as a data analyst, in addition to teaching you the things. After completing the certificate, you'll even get access to a network of over 150 companies that have agreed to hire people with this exact certificate. I think it's very cool that Google are doing this because it's way more than we could ever expect. Google is not the only one offering certificates for aspiring data analysts. IBM is definitely a worthy competitor. The IBM Data Analyst certificate consists of 9 different courses and is made for complete beginners as well. The entire certificate is expected to take students about 140 hours for all 9 courses. You'll go through the basics of data analysis, how to visualize your data, and learn a few different tools. Just like with Google, you'll get a permanent, verifiable certificate after you complete all the courses. Now let's talk about similarities between these two certificates. Firstly, they both come at the exact same price. Both certificates are included in the Coursera subscription, and the price varies depending on your location. It comes at a very fair price for the quality education and valuable certificate that you receive. If you're unable to pay, there are other options like financial aid, which I definitely recommend looking into. So just don't worry about the cost, there are always options. Both certificates are for complete beginners, and you don't need any prior experience or education at all to get started with them. Now, it's important that you start with the first course and then continue from there, because the courses stack on top of each other, and you will be very confused if you start with like course 4, but that's pretty obvious, right? There are some major differences though that you should keep in mind. The first difference is the learning style. One learning style might suit you better, and it's important that you pick the one that matches you. Google has people talking on the screen during their videos, while IBM focuses more on showing the concepts on the screen, for example using slides and images. I find that the IBM learning style feels less personal because of this. Like when completing the Google cert, you start to connect with the instructors, and that's also kind of motivating in my opinion. At the same time, it might be better for some people that are like more visual learners to go with the IBM certificate. When it comes to the rest of the learning formats, they're very similar. Both certificates include readings, quizzes, and small projects and practical exercises. Now, the content itself, well, IBM explores more data analysis concepts, whereas Google focuses more on teaching you the fundamental concepts and how to think and operate like a data analyst. What am I actually saying? Well, you can think about it like this. Google focuses more on the basics, the process, the field of data analysis and such, whereas IBM introduces more technical topics. There's a reason why Google does one thing and why IBM does another thing, which we'll understand in a second. People say time is money. Let's talk about how long it takes to complete these certificates. I added up the estimated time to complete each individual course, and here's the result. Google comes with 8 courses and a total learning time of 186 hours. For reference, I completed the entire certificate myself within 3 months part-time. The IBM certificate comes with 9 courses, and if we add them up, we get a total estimated learning time of 149 hours. Knowing this, we see that the Google certificate is 37 hours longer, or about 25% longer than the IBM certificate. Some of Google's course material is optional though, and that's something you should definitely keep in mind. They also have a faster learning path for people that already have some experience or find that the course is too easy. And please keep in mind that these numbers are only estimates. Certain skills are more in demand when looking for a data analyst job, so you want to make sure that you spend the most time on the most valuable skills. Let's move on to the tools you'll use in these certificates. Can you guess the first thing? Spreadsheets. You'll be using spreadsheets in both courses. Google makes you use Google Sheet, of course, and IBM goes with Excel. They're basically the same, and if you learn one, you can learn the other. In general, though, more companies use Excel over Google Sheets, so that's definitely a plus for IBM. Next, both Google and IBM will teach you SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language, and it's how you interact with databases. SQL is super important and is required in nearly every job listing for data analyst jobs. You learn the basics of SQL in both certificates. The next thing I'm about to share is the biggest mistake people make. They don't know that one certificate includes way more programming. They also teach you different programming languages, and Google decides to go with R. R is a programming language primarily used for statistical analysis and is in high demand in the data science community. Google only has one real course using R though and doesn't spend too much time digging deep into it. Honestly, you're not going to learn much programming with Google and you'll only do the absolute basics. IBM, on the other hand, will start teaching you Python already in course 4. Nearly half of your time will be spent learning and using Python as a data analyst. Knowing Python opens up lots of other doors as well outside of data science, which R doesn't necessarily do. This is because Python is a general language and one of the most used languages right now. Now, when it comes to visualizing data, Google decides to go with Tableau. They spend quite a bit of time with the software showing you how to create effective visualizations and dashboards. IBM will not really teach you Tableau, but briefly introduce a similar tool called Cognos. You'll do most visualizations in Python anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. Now let's move on to the final part of both certificates, which is a capstone project. They're a little bit different, and I think that it's important that you know this. So they include a capstone project at the end because it's super helpful to have projects you can show to recruiters when looking for a job as a data analyst. Google will have you make a personal project with their guidance, of course, and you'll be able to pick some data, make up your own questions, and so on. You go through the entire data analysis process that you've learned. The IBM capstone project is more pre-organized, and that's both good and bad. You'll just have to follow their instructions and do the project. I prefer the Google capstone because it allows you to be more creative and make a personal project that you're actually interested in. This also means that it's more unique and will help you more with landing a job. I completed the entire Google certificate myself, and if I were to make my choice again today, I would pick the Google Data Analytics Certificate. Yes, I would pick the same one, and here's why. I just prefer the Google way. I really like Google. I like how it's taught by real data analysts at Google. I think that it's a very gentle introduction to data analysis, where you really get to learn the soft skills and analytical thinking. Sure, it's a little bit longer than the IBM certificate, but I feel like with all the job aspects and how Google connects you with potential employers, and how they add in lots of resources to help you get the job, it just seals the deal for me. That is super valuable as someone looking to get your first job as a data analyst, and on that part, IBM unfortunately doesn't compete. Now, I will tell you that for some people, the IBM certificate might be better. If you're looking to primarily focus on learning Python, then go with the IBM certificate. That's the main reason why I would advise someone to pick IBM instead of the Google certificate. The most important thing is just getting started, so just pick one. You can always change later. Plus, a special tip, if you do take the Google certificate, you can always go back to the IBM one and do the Python parts after. To learn more about getting your first job as a data analyst, check out this video right here, and thank you for watching this video.